All right. Well, this will be interesting. I'm going to go over as I'm uploading a new song. So interesting to see if this is just going to end up being a recording that goes up. I've never actually tried to go live before. Hi, I'm Joseph Tozer. I almost said with capital P construction. So we have cats in the background, which is great. Let's see. Empty Hands is the file I'm working on right now. And in DistroKid, in the upload, there's some interesting things. So hopefully it'll just keep showing as I'm going through these different files. But I always deselect Spotify now because it's 0.00000 infinity 6 cents. I was doing the social media pack, but after about a year and a half, I tried to discontinue the social media pack because I was going to get hit with another like $3,000 worth of music distribution. So if you've seen a lot of my content, I had about 375 songs up, but because of that button, I had to delete everything, and I'm re-uploading it now, which is why I'm doing this quick live video just to see how things work. So this is a first for me. So I'll save it and throw it into the files. But so I contacted DistroKid, and they said basically, we can take you off Spotify, which is fine, but we can't deselect the social media pack without terminating everything. So I went ahead and just deleted everything, including the master files, which was a huge mistake because all the mastered renderings were within those ISBN whatever numbers. So that was fantastic. DistroKid was really nice about it, though. They actually refunded me like $1,300 this last week, which was incredible. They didn't want to lose me as an artist, and they were like, just start over. They were like, you made a mistake. We're willing to work with you. I was like, I don't even need the money back. I just don't want to have to reload everything. And they're like, no, just here's a reimbursement. Just go for it. You can pay $100 and have every single one of your songs remastered once you get them up. So typically, I'll just not use the social media pack button anymore because the YouTube stuff, and this is really important for people, I guess. So if you do watch this, like, hey, good for you. So if you have them marketing for you on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Spotify, they really don't do anything for you. Like, you can click it if you have money to burn. DistroKid is an incredible distribution hub. I got hundreds of thousands of views as a know-nothing artist. And I expect to have way more because what I learned is, they'll throw up a YouTube video for you, but there's no hashtags. There's no, you get 100 hashtags within, you give the song a title, space, pound, whatever word you use as a hashtag. You get up to 100 characters. That right there is not done by your distributor. So right there, you're losing tons of exposure. I went and did that on a short the other day and got tens of thousands of views. It was fantastic. But then you also get another 5,000 characters for your description, and you get another 500 characters for your comma, whatever word you want, called tags. And, I think what I'm learning as an artist after the last couple of years is that you really have to put the effort into it. So it's not just YouTube. So if you have a distributor, you think, oh well, my music's on YouTube, like, oh, that's great, but it's not growing, it's not getting out there. You can take a hold of your channel. So there's a lot of things. I probably don't even have time to talk through all this stuff, but you can go into your distributor account, take over, put your YouTube account into your name, gain ownership of it, and then start working on it and creating things with it. But as an artist, I thought, oh well, I don't really need to do that. I've got a YouTube video up, and it's the same thing. I'm good. So after I get through these 400 files, I'm gonna have to go back and rework all 400 files, not just from DistroKid, and then making YouTube videos and then shorts. But I'm actually gonna have to go back and do the whole experience with TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I could try Spotify, but I think that they're getting a pretty bad reputation. So I'm just going to ignore them and try to find a different color that I like other than green. Red and blue is pretty fantastic, but I don't know if I have a favorite color. So scrolling down from some of that drama, Just release it immediately. You don't really have to click anything. You just go for month, date, year. And then language, English, primary genres, pick whatever genres you want. You get a backup, you get an image, title, same thing. You put the title in, no hashtags. It's just title. So you go down, you drop your music in it, you get a WAV file. I use Suno sometimes. I've only used it for like 2 songs that I have published, maybe 3. Mostly I use AI songgenerator.ai, which is a program that's inside ChatGPT. So writing with ChatGPT is another very long discussion. I have ChatGPT, Gronk, and multiple AI tools that I use. Each one works differently. They're grammar tools, right? Some of them are better for images. Some of them are better for production. Some of them have memory. They can actually work with you. So before I get on an entire tangent about the different structures within the weight systems, you just drop in your WAV file. That's ideal. You can do an MP4 or whatever else. That's fine. And then you just put yourself in as the songwriter's name, put your name in, boom, you own it. Go down as an AI artist. You get to throw yourself in as whatever you want. So you get to put yourself in as the writer and the producer, or whatever. So you have to put your name in 3 times, and then you just scroll to the bottom. You get leave a legacy. I don't ever use it. Discovery pack. Don't care. If people find my music, fantastic. Store maximizer. Don't care again. Loudness normalization. If you have an AI program running this stuff, you really don't need it. You can always click it. If they don't apply it, they won't bill you for it. So if it's needed, it'll bill you $3 and it's worth it. But for the most part, they're just going to say it wasn't needed. Social media pack, that one I have a problem with. If you have 10, 20, 30 songs, by all means, go for it. But if you have like hundreds of songs and you're planning on having thousands of songs, then yeah, don't click that button. And then you just select through saying you agree to all the terms, and you just click done. It'll render the file. It used to give you an option like, do you want to pay $10 to master it? Now it just completes it, and then you can click into your DistroKid account and say, okay, yes, I would like to master it for $10, or just pay the extra $100 so that you can maximize everything. So, talking about this file, so I just got past the upload into DistroKid. So right now I've got Gronk. What is Gronk doing? Gronk is identifying the theology within what I asked it to do for the Samson song. So it's a song about Samson who basically lives his whole life with, so for me, as I'm writing music, a lot of times I'm writing stuff that has a lot of different meanings or purposes. So in this specific case, Samson, he is not supposed to be around the dead. He's not supposed to have wine. He's not supposed to have his hair cut. He does a lot of things. And so growing up as a Christian, I'm already aware that like he gets honey from a dead lion. He's drinking at a party where he's marrying into another culture that he's not supposed to. He ends up getting 30 garments or some number of garments that, he basically brings back as payment. So he's got blood on his hands there too. He picks up a dead animal's donkey's jawbone, more death, kills 1,000 people. 1,000 is a huge number biblically, so it's not just a number that's tested, but there's a lot to the thousands. So if you want to study Job or some other stuff, you can look at how numbers can get up to 22,000, and then like you break numbers down from 22,000 and you'll get right into some basic numerology. Numbers from 1 to 21 is a really good place to be in. 22 ideally. It took me like 17 years to go from understanding 1 to 21 and then from 21 to 22, which is just sounds stupid, but it's just ridiculously complicated. So there are books about that. So right now it's just identifying all the different. So I don't know if I can click record. Hey, based off of all the images that we just identified, I want you to create base renderings for me. so that I could potentially use them as little images within the YouTube video. And I want to be able to partner that with the song that I'm giving you from AI song generator.ai. Hopefully that didn't mess anything up there. No idea. Enter. Ronk is working for 1 second. I got the program to work for 90 minutes this last week trying to process files on ChatGPT, which was incredible because it usually only takes like 5 minutes, but the 5.5 or 5.6 now is willing to go the extra mile. So that one's working. So now clicking back over to ChatGPT, it did the same thing and it went ahead and identified everything and it listed them all out. But I had it not render the pictures yet because it's horrible. And like, if you ask it to make a picture of Delight, it'll say, "Oh, well, it's too personal. We can't do that. It's too provocative." So, all right. So based off of all of the images I want to use within the song, I want you to go ahead and try to create renderings for each one while staying within your safety bounds. And go ahead and list those out in sequence, please. So yeah, I actually started working on this one for about 5 minutes before I started the video. So, you missed the very beginning. Sad day. It's working on it. It's going to think about it. I'm using the image generation workflow now because you've moved from planning into production. I'll preserve one consistent Samson, keep every scene cinematic and non-graphic. So in this program, I really like working with ChatGPT because it has 100 saved settings, and you can go into save settings for personalization. And in the personalization, it's really interesting because you can kind of form it to like kind of catch up with some of your character, to kind of see how you're building things or what you're building. So actually, I'm going to click back over that just to scroll through some of this. So here it's rendering. I don't know if it pops up in your video. It probably doesn't, but there's Samson. And then I'm working on a whole bunch of other ones. That's a fun song. So these are, I have to work on 375 files, but some of those files have like 20 songs inside of them. So I don't know, 400 plus songs. But, I'm trying to get them. This was an experiment. The 30-second clips, I'm having a hard time generating Christian content for the 30-second clips because it's hard to make Christians happy. They are, that friend of mine used the word gatekeeper the other day. The sensual content, it just boom, it blows up. But if you put out like a biblical content, it's like the church is like, "Oh, well, that's not approved by our church," or "That's not part of our doctrine," or "We didn't create that, so we don't market it." So you can't be a part of like a church that does music because you're not on their staff. So it doesn't matter how good the music is; they just don't care. Same thing with biblical theology. I can grab book, testimony day. Really good theology. No one cares. This one, I just paid a few $100 to have it re-rendered. Altar of the Void. I haven't read it yet, but I published what the AI did because it took me forever. I had to write a 55-page document, and then it took this book that I had given to Supercool, which is another AI program, and it turned it into the same size file, which sucked. But when Supercool gave it back to me, it had really good emotional content. So I took both books, fed it into the new 5.5 ChatGPT with a 55-page document, and it spit out like a 750-page novel, which was fantastic. So I've got to read it. But Milia Tempe, Forma Obediente, all sorts of books. But excuse me. Let's see if these files are catching up. Okay. Samson with open hands. Samson open hands again with a lion. That's kind of aggressive. I'll probably change that to having some kind of honey. Of course, I'm lazy too, so I've got a lot of files to work through. Super Samson, he's buff. I'm pretty laid back when it comes to stuff. If it doesn't defile like the storyline too much, having a Super Samson is going to be weird. Samson wasn't actually that strong and buff. People like overdo it. When the Spirit of the Lord moved upon Samson, he acted powerfully, right? So it doesn't mean that he was like Goliath of a man. It meant that his spirit was empowered by God. So that's what's making this specific song interesting. So here, I don't know if you can see it or not. Same thing. They just make Samson out to be something he's not. So, this is ChatGPT, or no, this is Gronk, burying the doors, like blood everywhere. This might not be a good review for Gronk. I am enjoying Gronk. It's making the videos, so I'm happy with that. But Christians using Gronk, you're a bunch of perverts. Everybody says like, oh, Gronk is so much safer. Like, yeah, it is safer with your data, but you're exposed to like Super Samson, pornography, bad writing. It has no history, personalization. Like, even when I'm trying to, like, let's focus on the music. So even when I'm writing the character descriptors for YouTube, if I do it inside Gronk, it gives me like a little short, like, oh, here's a paragraph. If I do it inside ChatGPT is like, oh, well, Joe really likes me to use the full amount of information. He likes it when I take into account the structure of the song. He wants me to understand that I've already heard the lyrics, and like it remembers all these conversations. And so when I'm like, give me the descriptor, I can give it a short command and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to base it with keywords that are going to meet with that expectation. And we're just going to keep pushing through it and do it in a way that has really good tags, really good outlay, good storytelling, somewhat poetic, very beautiful in the descriptor. Like, it has all these things that it's thinking about as it's moving through the file that Gronk doesn't have. Gronk has no memory of who you are. It's just like working with a novel writer or songgenerator.ai. Like, if you log into the program, it has no idea who you are. That's my wife calling. She's probably like, what are you doing online? I'm going to be like, I'm playing with the computer. I'll call her back. So I love you, babe. Oh, so I guess just to catch you up, I'm going to make a YouTube file here in a second, but I guess I'm already kind of covering some of the information. I'm going to go back in and tone Samson down. This is stupid. He is not that big of a dude. Jewish people aren't this big. I mean, maybe I'm half of 1% Jewish, and I'm about as tiny as it gets. So I do construction, so I got muscles, but I'm not big. I don't know. I don't know a lot of Jewish people either, though. I mean, so Tozer's, where I come from, we fled through the potato famine. So we ended up coming across from Ireland into New York, and then over to Greeley, and then over to San Francisco, and then more generations later, we came back here again to Colorado. So catching up to the music production, I'm not going to go in on how to have those conversations with AI right now. But, as you're having the conversations, so relative to this right now, this doesn't meet my expectation. Some of the other videos don't either, though, because you're going to see some weird content. It's going to go back and forth between Christian and not Christian. So I don't know. It's not necessarily not Christian. It's just true for where I'm at. Like, the world is difficult. Things are hard. So I think that sometimes as an artist, you get those overwhelming feelings. And so you're seeing me upload files right now quickly. So if you're watching it, but you're seeing 2 years basically of content. So it's not necessarily where I'm at spiritually. You're seeing where I've kind of moved through. At some point, I was studying Samson. I don't even remember when, but I've got the file. So I'm going to work it out and get it back onto the computer. But it looks like I'm going to need to redo this, and then I'll give the command along with the link, and I just need to kind of like tone it down a little bit. I mean, it could be exciting to have Super Samson. It's super dumb. Super, super dumb. Yeah. So it's not just Gronk. ChatGPT's doing it too. It just leans into expectations sometimes, and the video generator or the image generator there is just not that. I mean, it's better now, but I don't know. I guess this is a bad review. Super Samson's not cool. So I'm going to get those files up, and then I'll create a short, and then I'll just snag the next file. So if I go into, files, there's a couple files, Livingstone. Livingstone's got 3 different songs, 3 different images, and I can just grab one of those and then start working on connecting them to a YouTube video and then a short. And I kind of just rinse and repeat and keep going back through it from there. So I'm going to be interested to actually see this, to see if it's pulling up my screens. That'll be kind of interesting. Well, Samson is a fail. Isn't that great? You log in to learn something from somebody, and he's like, oh, yeah, everything sucks. Didn't work. Complete fail. Start over. Yeah, welcome to my world. Sometimes it just doesn't work. So I'll tell the system, pull up pictures of Jewish people, and then I want a realistic Samson, and then I'll use some of the same descriptors, but see if I can't tone it down a little bit, because it's a really pretty song. So I want the visual to match the music. So I guess that's a good thing to close on. You create the music, the lyrics should match the melody and the lyrics should match the picture should match the video. Everything should be cohesive, and you're trying to bring as much together as possible. So a lot of times it's not necessarily about just writing a song. Like a lot of times you're writing it, you're conducting it, you're orchestrating it, but you need to intentionally really say, like, this is what I'm looking for, and just keep pushing into trying to draw that out. And a lot of times, like right now, it fails and you have to start over. There's a lot of these files that I have that I've had to go back in 100 times, where I just process the files and I keep trying to get it into the right system, and it doesn't work. Eventually I give up and I get a song like thee and thou and all thou art are mine. If you look up that file, I literally went through 100 versions, finally scrapped everything, rewrote the entire song, and on the first put through, I got an incredible song out of it. It was absolutely stunning, but it was because I failed 100 times. So it's like, so that's in my, yeah. I'm like, man, I don't know. Anyways, when I finally got it, I was so excited. So, anyways, hopefully I'll be dressed better and not be tired sitting at a computer, looking all weird and stupid. I'll try to get a mic and look professional when I actually get into these things. I'm a weird guy. I like giving peace symbols, live long symbols, hang loose symbols, Jesus bling symbols, live long and prosper. Jesus loves you. All right. Now I got to figure out how to exit, because I've never done this before. Old people in technology. We're like super special. Can I give myself a thumbs up? Nope. Can I edit it? Upload? Share screen? No. Mic? Going? Edit? Cancel? Well, maybe I was just talking to myself the whole time, making my own little special recording. I can see the mic is picking up my voice, but am I live actually? I don't know. You know what I can do? Is delete the page and see if it actually saves it. Boom.